Yes. Well, let's move on a little bit. Okay, so that was one of your favorite classes. Have you, I know we talked about this earlier, but besides your regular courses, you mentioned joining a laboratory to do some research. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Okay. I started to learn and conduct research at the physiology laboratory.
Oh, yeah, physiology laboratory. Yep.
From the beginning of the April this year.
Okay.
And the reason I started to go to the laboratory is because of the research clerkship. That is a very unique program in the Nara Medical University.
Yeah.
In the second year, from the January to the March,
Right.
Students go to the laboratory, not only the Nara Medical University,
Right.
and on other prefecture, and some motivated students go to the foreign countries' laboratories.
Yes, yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Itsuki, in fact, was in. I usually teach a class prior to these research clerkships to help prepare students, and Itsuki was a member of that class.
Yeah.
And I remember, as you can probably tell, he was very good at English in that class as well. So, and can you remind us of where you went for your clerkship?
On the research clerkship, I was interested in the contents of the research of the physiology laboratory.
Okay.
So I decided to go to the laboratory for the research clerkship.
Right.
And while I was practicing the researching and how to use the kits of the research.
Yeah.
And I also practiced reading the paper about the iPS cells or ES cells.
I see. That's great.
And I gradually got interested in the researching. And end of the March, when the research clerkship would be finished, I had a mind to continue the research while I'm a student, and I want to continue and learn about the stem cells.
I see.
And so I have become a member of the physiology laboratory.
I see. So did you do the clerkship here at the university, or did you do it at another institution?
I did the research clerkship in this university.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for reminding us about that. Okay. And you enjoyed it so much.
Yes.
You basically joined that laboratory to continue your study. Great. And how often do you participate in the lab outside of your regular classes?
I usually go to the laboratory 2 or 3 times in a week.
2 or 3 times in a week, and spend a couple hours each time? Is that?
Yes. For about 2.5 hours, I practicing the research.
I see. And then that's really fascinating, because some of the other students that I've taught have done that as well, and they're in some laboratories here. Besides just getting some experience or more knowledge, are there any other benefits of joining a lab at the university? Maybe making some connections, or
the connection is also important, because some seniors or some colleagues also go to the laboratory. But the most benefit for going to the laboratory in the student era is to have the experience about the basic research.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Yeah.
And in the future, we must have the opportunity to do some research, not only the basic medicine like iPS cells, or the clinical medicine like the statistics or about the diseases. But in that time, it is very difficult when we don't know about the method or the ethical problem towards the medical research.
Right.
But if we learn about even a little while we are students, we can remember the methods of the medical research.
Oh, that's great.
So it is very good trigger for us to continue the research while even if we got adult in the future.
Yeah, that's great. It's a fantastic explanation, by the way. Just out of curiosity, how many students, let's say in your class, each year there's about 115 students. What percentage do you think join some kind of laboratory?
I know.
It doesn't have to be exact. Just a guess is great.
About I think 10%
10%.
of
Okay.
the third year student join the laboratory.
Okay. That's good. That's interesting. So not a huge percentage, but I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, you are here, and you have these resources. You might as well take advantage of them. I think that's really smart. Okay. Wow, you did a great job so far. So we heard a little bit about third year, even second year. Now you talked something about the laboratories. Besides study, because I even think the lab would be study, are you a member of any club activities? I introduced club activities with Yuriko in a previous podcast.
I'm a member of the ESS club.
Okay.
And also NLSC club. NLSC is the Nara Life Support Club.
Nara Life Support. Okay.
We practice about the basic life support, and we are studying about ICLLs. We conduct, that is a medical practice we conduct to the patients who have the cardiac arrest.
Oh, okay. So maybe immediate response. I see. That's really interesting. And how often do you meet that type of club? I mean, I should preface that by saying we're in a particularly difficult time with the pandemic, so club activities now are different than usual.
Yeah.
But do you still meet with that club in some way during this time?
Last month, I joined the NLC club at the Nara Medical University.
I see.
And we studied about ICLS practice at the practice center. It is next to our classroom.
I see. Oh, okay. That's great. And, that sounds like a very kind of academic club as well, because I know Itsuki is a motivated student. You mentioned ESS Club. Now, some people may know what that is, but I think, if some of our listeners are from other countries, they might not know. If they're from Japan, they might have heard of it. What does ESS mean?
The ESS means the English Speaking Society Club.
Okay, so it's essentially a club for English learners or students who want to speak in English or do something with English, right?
Yes, and for the people who are accustomed to speaking English, that is also very good because we have some section in the ESS club, like a speech section or the debate section. We sometimes join the much of the speech or debate.
Yeah, and some of our students have done very well in those competitions, correct?
Yes.
We've had a few winners over the last few years.
Yes. Yeah. There are many students who are very good at English, and they have some talents.
Yes.
Toward that.
Yeah.
But I want many students who are not, even if they are not good at speaking English, but if they have the motivation to speaking English,
exactly.
Yeah, I recommend them to join us and speak together.
That's great. I should say this. What is your position in the ESS club this year?
This year, I'm in the member of the BMC. That is a section of conducting the presentation about the researching
in English. Wow, that's great.
And I will become the next captain of the ESS club.
The next captain, so he'll be the top guy. Yeah, which doesn't surprise me because Itsuki's great. And just for our listeners, we have this English club, this ESS club at our university, and thankfully it's one of the most popular clubs. And as Itsuki said, we have some great activities, including speech contests, recitation contests, debate, among other things. But not only that, we have a lot of fun too, right, at the university. So, of course, Itsuki helps manage a lot of these activities, but they'll have like a summer camp.
Yeah.
Also, we have regular English conversation time at lunch. What other kind of fun things do you do in the English club?
I also consider holding some English recreation, like the quizzes and like Who Am I? Like the or such kind of the fun things for the people, and I think such games can make the many people fun, even if they are not accustomed to speaking English. And if I explain the rule,
right,
and in the easier English, it can be more helpful to understand for many people.
That's right. That's great. Yeah, Itsuki's I'm always trying to think of ways to improve the ESS club, which is fantastic. So let's move on to maybe besides school. I know you're very involved because you got the ESS club and was it the NLSC club, right? NLSC. You're also working in the laboratory doing some research, and of course you have study. You mentioned there's some things you like to do outside of school. You like to have some fun, a little relaxation, of course, which includes reading books, games, television. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? For example, what kind of books do you like to read? I know you mentioned you read the National Geographic, which is an English language magazine, right? Yeah. Any other books that you like to read?
The books I most recommend many people is National Geography, but not only that, I like the books about the living things like insects or fish, and or especially the fishes in the deep sea.
Oh, okay, I see.
I was very interested in the mysterious environment of the deep sea, or like in the wildlife.
Right. Yeah. Well, have you learned? Since you like that, can you tell us one particularly interesting story about something living in the sea? Something surprising, maybe?
About the deep sea creature?
Yeah.
In the deep sea, maybe it is deeper than the 5,000 meter depth.
5 kilometers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
There are many fishes. They lost their eyes, or they create some rights with the bacteria, and there are many fishes which they have large mouth to eat the prey more comfortably.
Okay, so maybe because they can't see well, the mouth is larger in order to collect more smaller fish.
Yes, and there are also many fishes. They have the very sensitive nose
I see.
to smell the other prey or some fishes, or they use to meet their same kinds of fishes.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah. I know there's some really good TV programs. I think oftentimes by maybe the BBC, for example. Have you seen any of those programs? Like, what is the one called? Not Lonely Planet. The Blue Earth or Blue Planet?
I have heard of the name, but I haven't tried yet.
Oh, okay. I bet you would like those. I think there's one. It's all kinds of environments and animals across the earth, but I think there's one specifically specific about undersea or deep sea creatures. Might be called the Blue Planet. I can't remember exactly, but I bet you would like it. So maybe you should check that out. You said games as well. What kind of games do you like to play?
I like playing the game of Pokemon.
Pokemon, okay. Is that like Pokemon Go?
Or I also do the Pokemon Go in the smartphone, but I play the Pokemon Sword and Shield. We can play it on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, okay. I see. How often do you play that?
Recently, I have been busy, so I haven't played so much.
Yeah.
But I have some friends who likes Pokemon very much. So I sometimes play with them online.
Online, okay. So they can be at their respective homes, and you can just meet online and play Pokemon. Okay, of course, that sounds good. Okay, great. Itsuki, you've done a fantastic job today, and I really appreciate your appearance. I bet our listeners are going to really enjoy this. We talked about all kinds of things, some surprising things, and maybe some scary things, like that parasite in the brain. let's just finish up with, we're getting close to the holidays, holiday season where it's nearly Christmas. And Christmas is popular in Japan, but maybe more importantly, you have the New Year holiday. The New Year holiday in Japan, right? Which is called Oshogatsu. Do you have any plans for the New Year holiday?
I don't have plans, but I have plans for the Christmas.
Oh, okay. Well, can you tell us what are you up to for Christmas?
In my house, it is routine for us to bake the cakes at my house and cook some meals, which is special for the Christmas.
I see. So, like, what kind of meal would you cook?
Like the chicken or large salads, and also. Now I am over the 20 years old, so I can drink.
Yes, you can. And Japan is 20, right? Yeah.
And last week, my parents said they bought some wine for the Christmas, so I will try one.
Have you had wine before?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, yeah, wine would be perfect with the Christmas meal. New Year's now. Now Christmas, of course, you have the Christmas parties and those kind of foods. But New Year's is also kind of a family holiday, right? So maybe stay home would be most likely. Some people travel, but
it is for me. It is normal to stay home and take a rest the New Year's holiday.
Yeah.
But sadly, for me, we will start my new section of the university from the January 4th. It's very early.
Yes, sadly is an understatement. Yeah. School starts very early for the medical students at this university, and it seems like it starts earlier and earlier every year.
Last year we had holiday until January 10th,
something like that, right? Yeah, and next year will be the 4th. So
yes.
Well, anyways, it'll still be nice to spend maybe some relaxing time at home. I'm sure your parents or your mother will cook a nice New Year's meal. Maybe osechi, which is the traditional food.
Yes.
So you'll relax a little bit, and it sounds like Christmas will be great. But I know you're a very good student, so you'll be back at it soon on January 4th, doing your best. And Itsuki, thanks again for joining the podcast. I think you've given us a lot of good information and knowledge about the medical college life, and not only that, but other things too. Any last comments before we finish up?
Yeah, I was really fun to speak in the podcast, and it is very good time to discuss with Michael.
Thank you.
And I want many people to see the podcast, and it is very a fun and good experience for them to see the Japanese medical student life. It is unusual for many people in the world.
Yeah, I guess so. I hope so, and I hope our listeners are enjoying that. Let's go ahead and finish up. Now, Itsuki will be with us just this time. However, we kind of talked before the podcast, and hopefully if Itsuki's free at some point, I'd like to invite him back again.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Yeah, it is very good for me.
Okay, great. So hopefully maybe later in your 4th year, we'd love to have you back, and we can maybe get an update about your studies or talk about anything you want to talk about. Okay?
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot, Itsuki. We're going to finish up, and thank you, listeners. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're there for our next podcast. Thank you.
Yeah. See you.
Thank you for joining us for this part 2 of an interview with Itsuki. He is one of my favorite students here at the university, and we hope you enjoyed his interesting stories about life as a third-year medical student and the things he's doing here at the university. We would really appreciate it if you share the podcast with your friends or colleagues, and go ahead and subscribe, and feel free to leave us a review when you have a chance. We really appreciate all the feedback. And just a reminder, if you ever want to contact us, you can send us an email or leave us a voice message about topics you might be interested in going forward. Thanks a lot.